if you're, happy, enjoying the time, why does the title matter?
Again, I think it's a matter of security. I think that when your heart is in something, there's a certain security that you want from the relationship. It's the same thing with like any business transaction, right? There's a certain amount of security that a contract gives you. It's legally binding. And although being boyfriend and girlfriend is not legally binding, it still says to me that, okay, we're going down this path that we were headed on. Whereas being friends with benefits is a step back. Essentially, I went from being your lady to like this hidden thing. So for me, like I said, it diminished the integrity of our relationship. Our relationship was one of ride or die, thick and thin. That's what it was. Ride or die, thick and thin. And then now it's like, I'm a ride and you go sit over here. And like, I just dip in and out when it's convenient for me. That's not what
you signed up for.
No, I didn't sign up for that. And that's not the standard that you gave me. Hi, guys. Welcome back.
Yes, welcome back, guys.
Episode 4?
Yeah.
We're halfway there.
Halfway there today.
We want to start off by saying thank you for bearing with us.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work. We were not expecting it to be this challenging.
Not at all.
Not at all, but we're really excited and we're happy to be halfway through. So we're trying to get our story to you in 8 episodes and tie all of these kind of loose ends together. We've had several different story times with a lot of different references. And we hope you guys are following. But one of the things that we touched upon in 2 episodes ago was the fact that Darren and I did break up for a period of time.
Yes, for a little bit.
For a little bit. So we wanted to share that story with you. I actually came across something really timely on Instagram. Judge Judy and her husband have been together for 48 years.
Wow.
And there was a period of time that they were divorced.
And he got
separated,
back?
And they remarried after 2 years.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep, and I saw it today. So I was like, oh, this is really timely. So we want to talk a little bit about our breakup story. If there's any couples out there who are going through a similar situation, this may resonate with you. So should I start the story time?
Definitely. Since I broke up with you.
Yes.
Tell me how you felt and how it happened in your eyes. Okay?
Cool. So I remember Darren and I were spending a lot of time together. We were young. We didn't have any children at that point. We were not married. We were dating probably for about, 5 years at that point?
Yeah, about 5 years.
So as you all know, we met at Victoria's Secret. Took us a little while, but once we were boyfriend and girlfriend, we pretty much fast-tracked.
Hit the road running.
So we, were spending every weekend together, supporting each other through just being young adults. And I remember we kind of hit a rough patch and, things were really different. And I just kept feeling like things were off. And I kept inquiring to Darren, what's happening? What's going on between you and I? And he's like, everything's fine. Nothing's going on. Everything's fine. But, you just have that feeling like something is off. Something is wrong. There's distance. It's just not feeling the way that it usually does. And there's something happening. But if you two are not communicating, one of you is definitely going to be in the dark. So that essentially is what happened. So I remember one weekend I had spent the night.
Like always,
with Darren. And I woke up the next morning and he had risen before I did. And he was sitting on the edge of the bed.
Made me feel like Jesus risen before.
He was sitting on the edge of the bed and he was just slouched over. I don't know if you all seen that infamous meme of that woman, the black woman sitting on the edge of the bed and she's just tired and slouched over. And that's exactly how he looked. And I remember thinking damn, something's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like really hesitant to ask because I was met with like so much resistance when I was asking about how he was feeling in the past. So I was like, damn, should I ask? But it was like one of those things that when you care about somebody, it's kind of hard to ignore. So I laid there for a bit and then I just asked him, I was like, Darren, what's going on? Like, what's wrong? And I should backtrack and say, like, we had been getting into more frequent arguments and we had a good night. So I really wasn't trying to mess it up. Like, I was just trying to enjoy my time without it resulting in an argument. But it was one of those things that I just could not fight his energy, his vibe, his body language. Everything about it was wrong and it felt wrong and I just couldn't relax or ignore it. So I asked him, I said, Darren, what's wrong? What's going on? And he said to me, Imani, I love you very much, but this relationship is just not a priority for me right now. We can stay together if you want, but just know that it's not a priority for me and the ball is in your court.
Her favorite saying.
That line that haunts me. So I was like, what do you mean? Like, it was something straight out of that scene from Twilight when Edward breaks up with Bella and she's just like stuck and like stuttering because she just couldn't fathom like what was happening. It was just so...
Hold on, time out real quick.
Mm-hmm.
For the audience to know, I swear she was a vampire in her last life. She like every vampire movies.
I do.
And Twilight just take the cake? I think I've seen Twilight, the whole series, probably at least 150 times because of her.
But I feel like Twilight really, first of all, is very nostalgic. And you know how I feel about like certain movies. It's like sitting down and watching your friends on the screen. That's one. And then two, I feel like Edward and Bella's relationship reminds me a lot of our relationship in a lot of different ways.
Okay, we'll get back to that.
Okay. So anyway.
I definitely want to know how, but let's get back to that.
So he says to me, the ball is in your court. And I'm like, Negro, I am not LeBron James. Like, what are you even telling me right now? So I remember us going back and forth and I just kind of pled with him a little bit. Like, how could you even say that? From the moment that Darren and I have been together, we have been like inseparable. You know, we always spend time together. If you know me, you know him, and vice versa. And it's always been like that, like even before we were married. So the thought of us not being together, I was just like really stuck. I was really angry. I was really hurt. And also it was, for me, it was just so cold and so like withdrawn. It's like I recognized the person, but the way he spoke, everything about it was just like so gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. And after I pled for a bit and we argued, and I don't even know what the hell we were arguing about because I feel like we didn't say much of anything, but we were just going back and forth.
Tit for tat.
Tit for tat, no real understanding of the other person's emotions or how the other person was feeling. But I remember leaving your house and going home. And I said to my parents, I walked into my parents' room because it was Sunday morning. Walked into my parents' room and I was like, listen, me and Darren are not together anymore. Don't ask me no questions. I don't want to talk about it. We're not together. And that is the end of it.
What did your father say?
They didn't respond. I think they were shocked.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of just like looked at each other and looked at me and just was like this look of confusion. Because it was just like so random.
Random out of nowhere.
So out of nowhere. And then I slipped into like this bout of depression for like 4 days. I shouldn't downplay depression because I wasn't depressed, but I was very, very, very sad. So I went into my room.
Sorry to hear that. Apologize.
I went into my room for 4 days and I didn't leave. Like
for 4 days?
For 4 days.
Stop.
I only left to go to the restroom and maybe to get my food. Okay. And I ate in my bed, cried in my bed, laughed in my bed, thought in my bed, did everything in my bed for 4 days. And then 4 days later, I got up. It was like this voice inside me was like, Imani, get your behind up. Like, you're too young for this. Get up and go back out into the world. And that's what I did.
Okay.
So why did we break up is the question. Because at this point, I have no idea what has happened. Darren was going through it. And communication was not our strong suit.
I think I should take over from here.
No, you have to take over from here because I couldn't tell it.
So I think that you would never understand because this is certain things that a man go through. And I was in a place in my life that I was looking for new opportunities, one for growth. Also asking myself, can I do this forever? Okay, at this time, guys, I was working at T-Mobile and asked myself, can I do this forever? See myself like, becoming a store manager and going up to regional? Is this something I can do? And then at the same time, I was a party promoter.
Yes.
With BIC. Also, I was dabbling in real estate. So I was kind of spread thin at the time. Now, my main focus at the time was, growing inside of T-Mobile.
Right.
And at this time, the Green Acres location was opening up on the second floor. And I had a unique opportunity to open that store and show them that I can be part of the leadership team and learn operation, because I was killing it in sales. Everybody knew that already. There's no doubt in their mind that I can generate business. But it was like, okay, we know you got this part, but that's not all. That's not all it takes to run a store.
Right.
So you have to learn the operation. So that was one of my main tasks, operation and training.
And I imagine that was a lot of stress and pressure.
Yeah, because, this is, again, being a man, you set your mind on something and you really want to get it and you're going after it. Really and truly, I just felt bored at the current position I was, and I was over it, and I wanted to, challenge myself, go to the next stage.
Advance.
Yeah, advance. And I was very naive in thinking I could still maintain the lifestyle I had and trying to learn something new and really stay focused and be good at it. Because I wasn't trying to, be half stepping. I really want to learn and be great at it.
Right.
You know how I am. So it took a lot of time out of me, early days, late nights, fixing other people's mistakes, being held accountable for the whole store when the store manager and assistant manager was in there. And it was just like, damn, man, this is a lot. And people not having the same drive with you, because now the team saw me as leadership and the relationship changed. Me and the team used to go out, we've been drinking, went out, we went out to eat, whatever the case, clubbing, whatever it was. And now that part of the relation, that dynamic has really changed.
The interaction changes.
Yeah, because because that, we're not peers anymore, so to say. Even though I don't have the title, but we're not peers anymore.
Right.
And that was a problem. Because what I care about wasn't the same thing they care about. So to say that was my biggest issue. Now, think about it. I used to get off to work 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock, sometimes even 12 o'clock. Prior, when I was just a sales associate, I would just run out 9:30. 10 o'clock later trying to get some overtime. Now I'm there till 11, 12 o'clock. And, like, Darren, hey, where are you? Or you're outside in the parking lot. Remember?
I remember. Yep.
Picking me up. You're outside for, like, I said, I'll be ready at 10. Instead, it was like 11:30.
Yep.
When we get home, we talk, we might have a bite or whatever the case may be. But I'm so focused on the next day.
Right.
This is like after 2-3 months. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, okay, I can't go out. I can't do this.
You couldn't do the same. You
couldn't have the same routine.
Same commitments that you had prior.
I just couldn't, because I had to make a decision.
Right.
It was either growth or fun. And I was like, okay, we could put the fun to the side. And when you saw me that day slouch over, it was like, I got to have this conversation because I reached my capacity, and I was going back and forth with myself. And guys, this is where the communication is important. If I would kind of even had this conversation maybe 4 weeks, 6 weeks earlier, maybe we didn't have to break up. Maybe we could have came up with a game plan like, hey, we could just chill, watch a movie, or, if this weekend's too busy, you can have more time to yourself.
So tea time.
Yeah.
Because people are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So this is what's going on in Darren's head, but he communicated none of this. So me just
not at all.
The receiving end, I'm just seeing like his demeanor change. He's clearly stressed. And as you know, stress is like a hell of a thing. When you're stressed, it really does affect.
Very short, very
cold, very withdrawn, every interaction. So from my perception, although I know he had this new gig, I definitely believed in him, thought he was going to kill it. And he did, thought he was going to crush it, was not even thinking that this was an issue for him. And I would check in like, hey, how's work? Everything's fine. Everything's great. Right. So knowing that, I basically was a part of your family and there was like no family issues. From my perception, no work issues. I'm like, what is going on here? Let
me tell you why. Now, let's say that we had plans to go out, and I know I was getting off at 10. I got off at 11:30, 12. I saw the disappointment in your face. And it was like, damn. And it was like, damn. Weeks after weeks, like, damn. Or if I said, I'll call you back, didn't call you back. And went home and fell asleep because I got to get ready for the next day. Also, on a side note, the promotion team, we caught friction because we were all going different direction. We all wasn't committed at the time. You remember?
Yeah, I remember.
So that was another stress. And I was just like, okay, I'm not good here. I'm tired at work. And certain weekends, like certain commitments, like, okay, I have to go to this party, promote this party. And I thought that I would get to meet up with you, hang out for you for a little bit. And then after I go hang out with BIC and go do what I have to do and come back home. But now I saw the disappointment in your face because that I couldn't hold my promise to you, but you saw me going out with them. And you was like, oh, you can't spend time with me, but I'm going out with them. And it just created this whole vicious cycle week after week after week. And then it was just like, I reached a point, I was like, hey, I can't do this. This is really not a priority for me right now. And it's not that I didn't care or love you. It's that it was too much on my plate. But the communication was just poor.
The communication was poor. Yeah, I think, and to be fair, like I know how I would react now if you were to say something like that, because, we're married and marriage has its waves, right? It's not always going to be where we have nothing but immeasurable amounts of time to spend with each other.
Yeah.
In fact, quite the contrary. Like we
spend less time.
Intentionally make time.
Yeah, we make time.
We make time for each other because we're always busy. We're always running.
Because we have less time to spend with each other.
Correct.
Because we have a lot going on.
So, if it were now, that doesn't sound like so as gut-wrenching as it sounded then.
Yeah,
right?
Because we was inexperienced.
We were inexperienced.
At the time.
We were young.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, me not being privy to everything that he was going through really caused me to think like, okay, maybe he's just not into me like that anymore. Or maybe he's seeing somebody else, or just like go immediately to the negative. And so all that to say, we ended up breaking up.
Yeah.
And this did not last long. Okay. So, so let's get back to the story. The fourth day, I get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the city. I get dressed. I go to the city. I have lunch at cafeteria.
Your favorite place.
My favorite restaurant. And I'm just like, you know what, Imani? Maybe this is a good thing. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to think about it, but I know that life is not over for you, right? You're still young. You're smart. You have your own business. You have a great job. Like, pull yourself together and just take it one day at a time. But I did block you. I blocked you on everything.
Block على الفيسبوك، block على الواتساب، block تليفونات، block انستجرام، block عفوا block.
I blocked you on all social media platforms. I
Yes,
blocked
you did.
your phone number, my Facebook profile. Y'all remember that? Went back to single and in a relationship. And yeah,
Wow.
I just...
Does it say married now?
I don't know.
I'll check it later.
Yeah. I haven't been on Facebook in a minute.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yes, it does. It does. Yeah, but it doesn't have the right year. Because it has the year when I did it. Like when I realized, oh, this doesn't say married. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, blocked him and was not taking any of his calls. So you got to remember, like, everybody that knows me knows him. Everybody knows him knows me. I blocked him. He was calling my friends. He was calling my mom, because my mom has been a fan of Darren from day one. Okay. And I was like,
all good reasons.
All right. And I was like, okay, I'm not taking any calls. I didn't want to answer any questions. I didn't want to, I honestly was embarrassed because I was just like, the ball is in your court is nasty, nasty work. And I just did not want to repeat the story. I think I probably only told my best friend Shanice that story. So anyway, long story short, one day I'm at work, and this is when I was still at Victoria's Secret at this point and working at the hospital. So it was one weekend where I was by myself. I was registering patients, and I had a patient in front of me, and I went to reach for the phone because the phone line.
Wait. So at this point, she probably ignored me about 150 times from her work phone alone. And she would tell them, I'm not here. And I'm like, it's 12 o'clock. I know you're there. But okay, we're going to play this game. So go ahead, proceed.
Okay. So one day he catches me because I have a patient in front of me. And I also simultaneously am picking up the phone because the lines are ringing off the hook. So I pick up and I'm like, radiology. And then he says, hello. And I was like, shit, I know the voice. And I look down and I see his number. And that's when your number was 718-825-2249. Yes, I still know it.
Damn.
Yes. Okay. And I was like, damn. And you were like, do you know who this is? And I was like, yes, I know who this is. And you were like, I really need to talk to you. And I was like, well, I'm at work right now. I'll call you later or something like that. So later comes, which is like that night or the next day. And Darren pulls up to my house and we're sitting in his car and he's like, Imani, I love you so much. I miss you. Like, do you think that we could just be friends? I really just want to like us to be around each other and, you know, still be a part of each other's lives. And I was like, oh yeah, we can be friends. Let me tell you something. You cannot be friends with the love of your life. Okay. You just cannot. Don't fool yourself to think that you can. All right. That lasted for about a week before we was back at it like two rabbits. Okay. So now we are seeing each other. We're being intimate. We're hanging out in our free time. We're doing everything that a boyfriend and girlfriend does, except there's a problem here. We don't have the boyfriend and girlfriend title. So me, I'm like,
which I didn't see an issue with at the time, but okay.
Yeah. So me, I'm like, Darren, when are we going to get back to where we were? Like, when am I going to get back to officially being your lady? Like, this friends with benefit thing is not working for me. Like, I'm not feeling it. And he was like, Imani, I just need more time. I'm not ready yet, blah, blah, blah. So I was starting to feel like I was being manipulated. And
but okay.
That's how I felt.
Okay.
And I also felt like our relationship was just like so pure. This sounds so cheesy and corny, but it's the truth. I felt like our relationship was so pure that you were like diminishing the integrity of our relationship by us just being like these sex buddies.
Okay.
I just felt so cheapened by that. I felt cheapened, but I also felt like it cheapened us and what we had.
Okay.
So, I stuck around for about a year of this friends with benefits. And then one day I just asked him, I was like, Darren, I need to know when we're going to get back together. Even if it's not now, I need like a date. I need a time period, something. And he was like, Imani, I really just don't know. And I was like, all right, Darren, I can't do this anymore. And I really couldn't do it. Like, I just felt constantly anxious, like not secure. Like, I was just like, damn, like, when are we going to get back together? If he can do this, why can't he do the other thing? It was just like a mental mind fuck. And I was just like, damn, man, like, this is not healthy for me. I'm not feeling secure about it at all.
Okay, so let me explain my part. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't that I was trying to take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. It was just trying to get my life in order. And if anybody who's working on themselves and trying to get to the next level, it's not a quick thing. Usually, I can't speak for everyone, but it wasn't a quick thing. And also, when you love someone, it was like kind of my protection, my defense of, I didn't want to let you down. It was like, okay, we're not together.
You could always fall back on that. And that's what I hated.
Yeah.
That's what I hated. It would be like all good until like I could call you when I needed something. Mm-hmm. It was all
if you were sick, I went to the CVS for you. You needed to pick up food. Yeah, everything. You had everything.
But you had that safety net to fall back like, well, but we're not together.
Yeah.
And that shit irked me. I have to be really honest. Like that really.
Why? Again,
I felt like you wanted to have your cake and eat it too. And I felt like you weren't giving me the security I needed to just be at ease and to be at peace with our relationship.
But let me ask you a question.
I felt like there was so much unknowns, and I was used to having such a security with you.
Okay.
You have to understand, to have a good relationship for 5 years and then wake up one day and somebody tell you that they're not a priority to you, it jars you.
Okay.
It shakes you on the inside. So now, like, we're together, but we're not together.
But explain to all the males that's watching this, if you're, happy, enjoying the time, why does the title matter? Why, really, why does the title matter? We still going out to eat?
I think that's a silly question.
No, because it's a silly question for us.
Yeah.
But explain to them, they might not think it's silly. At the time, I didn't think it was silly.
Again, I think it's a matter of security. I think that when your heart is in something, there's a certain security that you want from the relationship. It's the same thing with like any business transaction, right? There's a certain amount of security that a contract gives you. It's legally binding. And although being boyfriend and girlfriend is not legally binding, it still says to me that, okay, we're going down this path that we were headed on. Whereas being friends with benefits is a step back.
Okay.
It's a significant step back.
Okay.
we weren't even, our family didn't even know about it. Essentially, I went from being your lady to like this hidden thing.
Okay.
So for me, like I said, it diminished the integrity of our relationship. Our relationship was one of like ride or die, thick and thin. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Ride or die, thick and thin. And then now it's like, I'm a ride and you go sit over here. And like, I just dip in and out when it's convenient for me. That's not what
You signed up for.
No, I didn't sign up for that. And that's not the standard that you gave me. So now you are operating below the standard that you set. So for me, it was a big deal.
Okay.
It was a big deal.
Okay.
So now I said, Darren, goodbye again. The second time.
Second time.
Back to being block, right? And we go our separate ways for like a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Just about 2 years.
Just about 2 years. And through that time period, we didn't see each other much. It went right back to like how things were before we met.
Yeah.
Living 6 blocks away and never running into
Ghost
each other.
town, yeah.
During that time, I got a promotion. I started working on Water Street in the city because I worked in Queens, and I started working at Water Street in the city. And I had a new set of friends. I had essentially a new life, living in the city, hanging out in the city. I was very rarely home. I think during that time I may have bought my first car. So I was like constantly out, right?
You did. Honda, I remember that.
Yes. And I had started my businesses. My businesses.
You already had your business.
Yes, but when we were together, my business was Dead Broke and Stylish. I remember we transformed it to Dirty Monroe.
Dead Broke and Stylish, I remember. I think you did. We were still together when you had Dirty Monroe.
I think, yes, but it was like t-shirts and such. Okay. By the time we were separated, we had like our first big fashion show.
Yeah.
Right? You remember that?
Yes.
During Fashion Week that we hosted. I came
with Rashad.
Yes. Right?
Yeah.
So things started to really look up, and, you know, life went on. So there was a moment where Darren and I ran into each other during this breakup. So it took such a long time, like a year passed.
This was probably like 14, 15 months.
Yeah, I would say.
Of not seeing you.
Of not seeing each other.
Hearing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to drive by my house, but he never saw me.
How you know I used to drive by your house?
Your sister told me.
Yeah. She's your sister or my sister?
I don't know. She's our sister.
Oh, now.
So yeah. So we ran into each other on Easter. And you want to tell that story?
Yeah, I'll pick it up from here. So it was Easter Sunday, like she said. And I can't remember. My mother needed something from the pharmacy. And I said, okay, let's just go to, what was it? Dwayne Reed. Dwayne Reed, and we could just knock it out. I was just like, I just want to go home at this point, get something to eat. Service was long, so I'm hungry now. So let's just get here. You know, let's just go here. And then we could go home and go eat. So I got to the parking lot and I saw the green car. And I was like, that's Imani mom car. And then right after I said that, I saw you guys walking to the car. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like struggling, trying to take off my seatbelt, make sure, you know, I get up close and personal. Like, I want to make sure you see me.
Baby, we was going to see you. Remember that suit?
Nigga, I was fly. I'm fly, you know what I mean? But
Darren had on this silver suit, okay? Silver.
Shiny.
Couldn't miss him.
So I was like, I got to make sure I came out. And I was like, hey, mom. And cause I was like, oh, you know, I don't want you to be nasty. You know how you get. So I was like, hey, mom. She turned around. She's like, hey, son. You know, and we started talking. And then after a quick, about minute and a half, she was just looking at us talk, conversing. And I say, hi, Imani.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just look away. Hi, Darren.
Yeah.
And I realized, oh, she was being so cold. I was like, oh, okay. How are you? You know, whatever. And then you was like, I'm fine. And I was like, all right. So I said, okay, this is not going to work out.
Just continue
talking to your mom.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, then after my sister and my mom got involved.
Well, I walked over to the car to say hi to them.
Okay.
They were sitting in the car. I walked over to the car to say hi to them. And I spent a while talking to them.
Yeah. While I spent a while.
While you spent a while talking to my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, we said goodbye. And we parted ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
so
why you laugh?
Because that day was so awkward. Like,
I felt weird. I was like, for someone I knew for so long, spent so much time with, and we haven't seen each other for like 15 months. And I was like, okay, we're not together, whatever. But I'm like, you could be nice.
I didn't want to be nice.
You could be nice. Like,
I was mad at you.
Okay, I guess.
I was mad at you. I was really mad at you. And it's one of those things where I was in a situation where I felt like I had moved on, but there was still something missing. And I was mad at you.
And I could tell, and it looked like when you saw it, you got even madder.
Oh yeah. I was like, oh God. Like I
saw the disgust in your face. I'm not gonna even lie. I saw the disgust in your face, and I was like, wow, okay.
I was really mad at you.
This is different for me.
Yeah. And it was like, you was smiling from ear to ear and like so happy. And I was just like, why are you, like, what are you smiling about? Like, I got tight.
I got to see my princess.
Yeah, say it so.
After 15 months. But anyway.
So 15 months, we run into each other on Easter at Dwayne Reed. And then after that, we see each other when? Wait.
No.
You tell it. Clarify, because I'm missing something. I know it.
First of all, you got to tell me what she told me like 2 years later about the song.
Okay. So.
Before we get there.
Yes. Because if it wasn't for the song, he better thank Beyonce and Jay-Z. Because if it wasn't for the song, you probably still would have been blocked.
Oh, God. And no, that's not true.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's not true. But go ahead.
All right.
All right.
So Beyonce and Jay-Z come out with the song Part 2 on the Run. So Bonnie and Clyde 03 was our song. Like, that's our song. And then Part 2 on the Run comes out that summer. Mm-hmm. So I'm in my room and I'm listening to the song. And there's a part in the song where she was like, if loving you is a crime, tell me why I bring out the best in you. Because I always felt like Darren and I were really good for each other. But him deciding to go off on his own with his own life and he didn't have time and it's not a priority. I was just like, how come we're so good together and you still feel like you have to be separate from me? Anyway.
Sound a little crazy, but okay.
Whatever. The line in the song got to me and I was like starting to tear up a little bit. I'm like, what the hell is that?
That's not what you said. You said you balled up, but okay.
No, I started to tear up. By the end of the song, I was definitely crying.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't care. You know me. I was definitely crying. And then I was like, this is a little awkward because, fun fact, I was in a whole new relationship. So it's me on my bed crying to a song about my ex while I have a whole new boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, damn. And you know, when you're in this situation where you're trying to suppress emotions, you know, you're in a situation where you're trying to suppress your emotions and try not to think about it. And it'd be like that one thing that brings everything up out of you. That was that moment for me. So that song came out in around the summertime. And that situation happened in the summertime, the first time I heard the song. Mm-hmm. And then the next time we spoke was when?
Now, okay, this is where I'll take over. So the next time we spoke was Labor Day.
So we saw each other
on Easter,
which is like March, April, depending on the year.
Yeah.
And the next time we spoke was in September.
Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't go to the parade that year. And so I was cleaning my room. Exactly how it happened. I was cleaning my room, and my nightstand, I was like cleaning the papers, taking old stuff out, blah, 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 blah. And I came across your wallet size picture.
Mm-hmm. The one that we took in Toys R Us?
No, the one that's Cardoza.
No, it's the one that I took in the mall.
Is it the one with the jeans and the
yellow top?
Yellow top.
Yeah, that's
khaki
the one I took.
yellow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had that one, and you were like, "Love Imani," and I said, "You know what? Let me give you a call." So guys, after what do you say? We're 19, 20 months in now. Haven't spoken to this person. I still remember her phone number by heart. I didn't have to scroll, so I just said, doo-doo-doo. And it rang. I said, I'm not blocked. I said, okay, let's take these small wins. And then you picked up. I was like, okay. I was like, hey, hi, how are you? Now I'm like, okay, this is gonna be really weird because I remember the last time I saw you. So I was like, hey, how are you? And he was like, I'm good. I'll say, what are you doing? And he was like, you in your room. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I was like, okay, the temperature is not bad. Okay, it's just, a little check. I was like, okay, we good. Like the voice is good. No one word answer. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So we was talking, and looked at my phone. Like 3 hours
have passed.
It's like, wow, okay.
So T-Time, this is nothing new for us. We used to stay on the phone overnight. Like come home from work, talk on the phone when we're coming, like transportation from work home. And then, okay, I'm going to take a quick shower and I'll call you back after I eat.
Yeah.
Type situation. Then stay on the phone, watch movies over the phone. Like.
And we really did that.
Yeah. Fall asleep, wake up, and hey, baby, you still there? Yeah, I'm here. Like, and then wake up the next morning, the phone's still next to our ear. Yeah. Talking has never been a problem.
Yeah, talking never been a problem. We used to talk a lot. And so I said, in my head, I got to get her out. Got to see her. And I said, yo, you want to go out and go get some ice cream? And
all it takes, food.
She said, yeah. I'm not going to lie. I was kind of shocked. I didn't expect it, but I said, I got to, take my shot. So she said, yeah. So I said, all right, cool. I pick you up in like 20 minutes. So I remember this like it was yesterday. So I let her order. She ordered the Wilted Baskin Robin. She ordered a Cherry Jubilee, right? And I had the Oreo milkshake.
Yep.
And then after we went
to Brookville Park,
walked around the park, and and then after we hanged out for a little bit more, and then I took you home. And I was like, all right, so in my head, this is Sunday. And I said, I'm not going to call you on Monday. I'm going to call you on Tuesday because I don't want to look like no thirst McGurse. So I said, I'm going to let some time go by, let that, Sunday marinate a little bit. So I said, Tuesday, I gave you a call on Tuesday. I said, good morning, how you doing? That. And you was like, yeah, you doing fine. I said, are you going to work? You said, yeah. I said, all right, so I'll call you late for lunch. Just check up on you, whatever the case may be. And then after, I said, all right. So I told myself, I'm not going to call you exactly around 11, 12. I'm going to wait because I don't want to look at thirst beggars. Call you around like 2, 3-ish. And we spoke a little bit. And then, we both had to get back to work. And I don't know what happened after that. But then I asked you, I want to talk to you.
Before that.
What?
So it was about a week or two of like the good morning text messages / phone calls and like checking in and then speaking on the phone at night. And around like week 2, you were like, Imani, like, I really want to like get back together or start talking about getting back together. And I was like, you're not about to play me again.
Like this again.
Hey, here we go again. Like, you're not about to play me. And you were like, Imani, let's go out to dinner. I want to take you out to dinner.
Let's do it the right way.
Let's do it the right way. I want to take you out. Let's talk about this. Let's like lay down our terms or whatever.
And if it doesn't work out, doesn't work out,
we walk away as friends, and that's it. Not like friends with benefits, but just
friends.
And I was like, all right, no problem. So we went to Dos Caminos. Did I tell you Dos Caminos is closed?
Yes, you did.
In Soho?
Yeah, you did.
So many of the restaurants that we loved have not made it out of COVID. I don't know if it closed before or during COVID, but a lot of our places that we frequent just didn't make it. It's really sad. Anyway, so I went to Dos Caminos in Soho and we had dinner. And you started off by saying, you know, things are different now. You're in a way better place. You know, you love me and you are willing to do this, do that. You know, little things that we had in our relationship. Our relationship wasn't perfect, but we had, you know, some things that we could have worked on. And you brought all of those things to the forefront during that dinner. And you were just there to try and convince me that you changed, that you were going to be able to talk to me, communicate, and just like balance all the things that you had going on in your life because you felt a little bit more stable in a position to do so. And I'll never forget, you were like, Imani, I've changed, right? So now the waiter comes over and he's like, okay, you know, what would you like to order? And I ordered whatever I ordered. And then you gave your order and you ordered salmon. And I was like, so the reason why this is significant, Darren and I have visited our fair share of restaurants, right? And he typically only orders chicken, sometimes steak, but mainly chicken.
Little ribs here and there.
Yeah, little ribs here and there. But he feels like the chicken is always safe. And I was like, Darren, why are you ordering chicken, my brother? Like, we going out to these fancy, fancy restaurants. Order something else. So when he ordered the salmon, I was like, oh. See, that was a chess move, not a checkers move.
Yeah.
And I was like, you little devil. I see what you do. I see what you did there. So anyway, fast forward. You know, we spoke, we laid it out all online. And then if you remember, like I mentioned earlier, there was a bit of a complication. I was in a relationship and I had been in a relationship for almost a year. And I said to Darren, I was like, listen, you know, I'm in a situation. I sound like that Erykah Badu song. You know, I'm in a situation. I need time to think about this. And then if we are to do this thing, like I need time to handle that with respect. And he was like, completely understood. So we had a great night. He dropped me home. And like maybe a couple of days later, we spoke again over the phone. And I was like, I really would like us to like explore getting back together and be back together. And I said, but you know, I need to handle what I need to handle. And then after that, we can move forward. And I did handle what I needed to handle. And then we got back together. So that is the breakup story.
Wow. Yeah, that's our breakup story.